When learning Italian, making mistakes is inevitabile. That means inevitable in Italian. In fact, they are key to improving. However, while it is important to learn from your mistakes, it is also essential to remember a few ground rules that will speed up your progress when learning Italian and to make it even more effective and efficient. When it comes to learning a new language, it's important to get into the language's mindset. When it comes to Italian, just knowing the rules isn't enough. You need to think in Italian too, and avoid trying to apply the rules from your native language when you translate words and phrases into Italian. Whether it comes to grammar, pronunciation, sentence structure, or vocabulary, here are 8 deadly mistakes in Italian and how to avoid them. Pronti? Ready? Cominciamo. Let's get started. Ciao ciao, mi chiamo Michelle, sono di Intrepid Guide, la vostra guida ai viaggi e come imparare le lingue. Hi, my name is Michelle, I'm the Intrepid Guide, your guide to language learning for travel using my 80-20 method. Now if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification so you get an alert when I post more videos like this one. Now let's take a look at the first mistake that you can make in Italian. Number 1, using essere to say one's age. Here's an example of what not to say.
Sono 27 anni.
What you should say is
Ho 27 anni.
One key difference between Italian and English is the sentence structure used to say one's age. A very common mistake beginners of Italian make is to copy the same structure of English, saying sono and then the age, which instantly labels the speaker as a non-native. In Italian, you are not your age, but rather you have a certain amount of years, as if they were a personal belonging like a house or a car. Remember this comparison the next time someone asks you, quanti anni hai? How old are you? Also, the word years, anni, mustn't be omitted, otherwise it's not clear what you're talking about. Ho 27, what do you have 27 of? Cats, sisters, apples? You have to make sure to include anni, years. Number 2, incorrect use of the preposition in. Here's an example of what not to say.
Abito in Roma.
What you should say is
Abito a Roma.
This next one is a common Italian grammar mistake. When speaking about residency or where you are located, while English uses the preposition in for both cities and countries, for example, he lives in Milan, I'm in Germany, or we live in France, or she's in London, Italian has 2 different prepositions, a and in. Here is a quick review of when to use them when talking about places. When to use the preposition in. You use it with names of countries, regions, or states. For example,
In Italia, in Baviera, in Queensland.
With names of big islands. For example,
In Sicilia, in Madagascar.
when to use the preposition a. With names of cities. For example,
A Londra, a New York.
with names of small islands.
All'Isola d'Elba.
Careful, for most of them you need to use a combined preposition. That is a simple preposition, meaning a, plus the definite article, such as il or la. 3. The incorrect pronunciation of grazie. Here's an example of what not to say. Grazie. Here is what you should say instead.
Grazie. Grazie.
You need to pronounce every letter. The next common Italian mistake beginners get wrong involves a pronunciation rule. Now, Italian is a phonetic language, meaning words are pronounced exactly as they are written. So, apart from a few letter combinations such as GN, GL, CH, and so on, when you see a word, you must pronounce every single letter of it. It might be tough at first to get your head around and requires some training for your mouth and tongue, but in the end you'll be very proud of yourself for being able to say thank you like an Italian does. So here is how to pronounce grazie without overlooking any syllable or sound.
Grazie. Grazie.
Now also be sure to roll your R if you can. Grazie. For tips on how to say thank you in Italian, check out my video which I've linked to in the description below. Number 4, the word panini. Here's an example of what not to say.
Un panini.
What you should say is
Un panino.
Another key difference between Italian and English is the way they form the plural. In other words, a concept that refers to multiple quantities of something, so 2 or more. While in English, the general rule is to add an S at the end of the word, such as cars, keys, or cats, in Italian, you have to change the last letter, which is usually a vowel. The letter I at the end of a word normally stands for it being a plural. That is a multiple quantity. I'm sure you have seen many cafes in English-speaking countries showing a sign that says paninis. Now, however, in Italian, that final I means it's already a plural. Requesting un panini would confuse the waiter about the quantity of sandwiches you want, because un, meaning a, is singular, but panini is plural, meaning sandwiches. So when you're in Italy, make sure you say un panino if you want just one sandwich. Number 5, confusing genders. Here's an example of what not to say.
Una la problema.
What you should say is
Un il problema.
Along the lines of the previous point, another common Italian grammar mistake is confusing grammatical gender. Not only do Italian words express a number, singular or plural, but they also have a gender. However, most of the time this doesn't reflect the characteristics of the object you're talking about. This is a heritage from Latin, the Italian language's mum, so to speak. When you start learning Italian grammar, you will undoubtedly ask, how do I know what gender a word has? For some concepts, the answer is quite obvious, such as la mamma, the mum, is feminine, and il papà, the dad, is masculine. For others, it might not be so simple to recognize the grammatical gender. Not only that, some of the ground rules that is taught to beginners of Italian are nouns ending in o are masculine singular. Nouns ending in a are feminine singular. Nouns ending in I are masculine plural. Nouns ending in e are feminine plural. These are all with the Italian pronunciation, by the way. While these rules are true for the majority of cases, they are general rules that of course have exceptions. For instance, the word problema belongs to a small group of masculine nouns which end in a and have a plural in the letter I. It may seem obvious that we're talking about a feminine word which needs the article la, right? Wrong. If you want to be 100% sure of the grammatical gender of a noun, here is what you should do. Look at the article first. Check it in a dictionary if you need to. Articles never lie. Now, other nouns that belong to this category include
Il sistema.
the system,
Il tema.
the theme or topic,
Il dramma.
the drama. Can you guess the gender and number for the following words?
Le dita. La radio. Il pilota. La canzone.
Stay tuned till the end of this video for the answers. Number 6, la gente and le persone, which both mean people. Here's an example of what not to say.
La gente sono gentili.
What you should say is
La gente è gentile.
the word people in English has 2 equivalents in Italian, la gente and le persone. While their meaning is basically the same and they can be used interchangeably, you should keep in mind that from a grammatical point of view, there is an important difference. La gente is a collective noun, meaning that even though it refers to a group of people, meaning more than one person, the noun itself is singular and it behaves like any other singular feminine noun. If you want to describe this noun with an adjective, like nice or friendly or crazy, this adjective must agree with it in terms of gender and number. For example,
La gente è simpatica.
la gente is the singular feminine noun, e is the third person singular of the verb essere, and simpatica is the singular feminine adjective. On the other hand, the Italian word persona is a regular singular feminine word that has a plural, persone, which can also be used to say people. Any other element of this sentence must agree with it in terms of gender and number. For example,
Le persone sono simpatiche.
le persone is the plural feminine noun, sono is the third person plural of the verb essere, and simpatiche is the plural feminine adjective. Both examples mean people are friendly. Neither translation is better than the other. They are simply two ways to say the same thing. Number 7, the verb piacere. Here's an example of what not to say.
Io piace.
Here's what you should say.
Mi piace.
One of the first things you learn as a beginner of Italian, or any other language for that matter, is how to say I like or I don't like something. This is usually a crucial part of conversation, especially when you meet someone for the first time. To ensure you express yourself clearly in Italian and thus making communication more effective, you need to know how to properly conjugate the verb piacere, which means to like or to be pleasing, which works differently than the verb to like in English. In English, the subject of the verb to like is the person or persons who like or likes something. However, in Italian, the subject of the verb piacere is the thing or the object that is liked by the person, by someone. Which means if you try to use the same structure in English in an Italian sentence, you will say something like
Io piace la pizza.
which might grate a bit on the ears of an Italian friend. Instead, you should say
Mi piace la pizza.
which literally translates to me, the pizza is likable, or to me, the pizza is pleasing. As weird as it sounds in English, this is how Italian natives express what they like. Interesting, isn't it? In most cases, you will only need to know two forms of piacere. The third person singular, which is piace, and the third person plural, piacciono. Piace is used when the subject, remember this is the thing or the object that is liked by someone, is singular, such as
La pasta, il mare, l'autunno.
and with verbs such as
Mi piace cucinare.
I like cooking. Piacciono, on the other hand, is used when the subject is plural, such as
Gli spaghetti, le vacanze, i gatti.
Here are a few examples of the verb piacere in action.
Ci piace il cioccolato.
We like chocolate. Literally, chocolate is pleasing to us.
Mi piace giocare a tennis.
I like to play tennis. Or literally, playing tennis is pleasing to me.
Ti piace la musica rock?
Do you like rock music? Literally, is rock music pleasing to you?
Non mi piacciono i cani.
I don't like dogs. Dogs are not pleasing to me. Number 8, using favorito instead of preferito. Here's an example of what not to say.
Il mio favorito cibo è la pizza.
What you should say is,
Il mio cibo preferito è la pizza.
after saying what you like or don't like, you might want to mention something you like the most. Beginners of Italian make two kinds of common mistakes at this stage. The first one is because they translate the English word favorite with the Italian word favorito. Now, while the word exists in the dictionary, it's not used as much or in the same way that it is in Italian. Instead, the more common word is preferito. This shows you that not just grammar is important, but vocabulary is too. Saying il mio animale favorito è il cane would sound a bit odd to Italians. Instead, you can say
Il mio animale preferito è il cane.
my favorite animal is the dog or is dogs. So when is favorito used? This word actually indicates the expected or predictable winner of any kind of competition. For example,
L'Italia è la squadra favorita a vincere i mondiali.
Italy is the favored team to win the World Cup. By the way, have you noticed that in Italian, the adjective, that is the word describing the quality of another one, comes almost always after the noun? Preferito is an adjective, which means that to sound natural when speaking Italian, you must remember that the correct word order is
Il mio cibo preferito è...
and not
Il mio preferito cibo è.
Now you know some of the most common mistakes Italian beginners make when learning Italian, and more importantly, you've learned how to avoid them. Now this doesn't mean that you won't ever make mistakes in Italian again. Now learning a language isn't a destination, it's a journey. But if you can keep in mind these basic rules and how to avoid these common mistakes, your Italian friends and partner or relatives will appreciate the effort and also compliment you. Now, it might be tricky and frustrating at first, needing to think of the correct expression or grammatical gender or conjugation to use, but the more you practice, the sooner you'll become more confident with it. So keep it up. Forza! You can do it! Now, P.S. Don't forget to check out the answers from the questions in number 5. They are le dita, meaning fingers. This is feminine plural. La radio, for the radio. This is feminine singular. Il pilota, the pilot, is masculine singular. La canzone is a song, which is feminine singular. Want more tips? Get my free guide with 7 additional mistakes in Italian and how to avoid them. Just click on the link in the description below and I'll send you my free guide. Are you a beginner or an intermediate Italian learner? Got a trip coming up or want to communicate with your Italian partner or relatives in Italian? Well, now you can learn Italian with my unique 80-20 method. Registrations are now open to join Intrepid Italian, my series of online self-paced video courses for beginners, advanced beginners, and intermediate students who want to take the next step with an effective and efficient, and most of all strategic approach to learning Italian. As your guide, I walk you through each lesson step by step using my 80-20 method. Now, my approach is different from traditional methods because I teach you the most important 20% of the language right from the beginning so you can start to speak straight away. Intrepid Italian includes everything you need to go from an absolute beginner to a confident intermediate speaker. Now, it's available in 3 levels and each course is perfect if you value learning at your own pace. Materials include video lessons, audio exercises, downloadable worksheets, bonus guides, a support community as well. Plus you have lifetime access and it's all designed to streamline your learning while having fun. It even comes with my famous Celebrate with a Spritz guarantee. Now, after 30 days of using Intrepid Italian, if you don't want to celebrate your newfound Italian skills with an Aperol Spritz, you don't have to pay a penny. Cheers to that! Now, for more details, click on the link in the description below of this video. Ci vediamo lì! See you there! And in the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on those notifications so you get an alert when I post another video like this one. Until next time, thanks for watching and happy language learning. Ciao ciao! A presto!